And I've told y'all in many of these rabbit hole productions that the Diagnostic Statistical Manual, the DSM, that psychiatry uses to classify mental disorders, needs to seriously consider labeling being a black female as a mental disorder. Because that's exactly what it is.
A few months ago, a subscriber asked me whether I would do a video series about individual content creators in red pill spaces. At the time I said no because it's too narrow of a topic, but after seeing the reception I received for a video I did about Solo TV 84, I figured it might be a good idea. If there's one person who I've been wanting to talk about the most, it is David Carroll. I view him as highly overrated, and I'm not the only person who thinks so.
Hey, David Carroll, don't even get me started on him. David Carroll is the leader of crying about black women. That nigga's boring to me. I hear everybody quoting him. I'm just like, I don't see what's so impressive about David Carroll. All he does is cry about black women all day long.
This man's name rattles off the tongue of so many content creators in the Black Manosphere. Literally, when I first came across the space, YouTubers frequently cited him so much that I thought he was this omnipotent guru and intellectual power figure kicking some serious wisdom like a Master Yoda or Obi-Wan Kenobi.
The YouTuber who has, I always say, the most oblique thought pattern and probably influences a lot of black YouTubers with his thought pattern, at least in this part of YouTube. David Carroll.
His absence on live stream gave him an enigma. By his own words, he refused to appear on panels because he's not willing to debate anyone he declares as intellectually unmatched.
I don't debate my intellectual inferiors. I'm not going to do that. I told you I only debate my equals.
Quick backstory. In April, I published a blog post asking what the so special about David Carroll. I assume Obsidian or someone else emailed the post to him because it led him to make a video response where I sat through some of the weakest counter arguments I've ever heard. This dude literally challenged me to put on a shirt that read, "I love chocolate," and asked me about black preachers. All I could think was,
is this shit gay?
As I stated in the beginning, I honestly don't see what's so special about him. I really don't. Besides the sheer toxicity and his vitriolic hatred for black women, he is extremely redundant and is nowhere near as intelligent as he claims he is. He rarely cites any credible information, and once I call him falsifying history and making anachronistic arguments about the talented, tough, and educated lames. What's mind-boggling is that every now and then the Manosphere will complain about their subscribers living in perpetual victimhood by blaming black women for all of their problems. But that is what David Carroll has done for a decade. He complains about black women, they praise him. He complains about black women some more, and they still praise him.
And this is the reason why I tell y'all I don't give a how fine the bitch is. I don't give a how big her titties is, how big her ass is. It don't matter to me. You put her butt naked in the bed and give me the choice between her and a box of cigars. 10 times out of 10, I'm taking those sticks. Them hoes.
Seriously, I came across a 6,630 word blog post he published in 2010 complaining about black women and making the same arguments as he makes today. Negro women are some of the most unclawed, socially ignorant brute savages on earth. She hides her social barbarism behind a carefully crafted mask used to fool people into thinking she's a respectable woman, when in reality she's a low-down, simple-minded freak who has created a resume full of her worthless accomplishments that has led to the demise of the black race. He even insisted that black women did more damage to black people than slavery, Jim Crow, and other forms of oppression. David Carroll mainly posts on Free Speech Avenger. Now, if you haven't visited the site, just think of the worst content you came across on YouTube and multiply it by 10. Yes, it's that bad. He not only berates black women, but also black men, particularly pro-blacks.
Black men are dumb. They're not smart. They're not smart by any stretch of the imagination. We just got to come to terms with it.
He vociferously believes that black women lower their standards when dealing with white men in the dating market and secretly wants to be their concubine. His rabbit hole series are just stories he recounts of black women sleeping with white executives in corporate America.
And I've been telling y'all in video after video after video,
This black woman worships white men. They worship them, man. Y'all cannot get around this.
Supporters uphold his ideology as infallible, even while he refers to black women in a derogatory manner that I cannot repeat on YouTube.
We're supposed to protect you even though you created Blackistan and the terrorists that terrorized Blackistan came from between your legs.
Trying to explain to this Afro-American Negro that this black bitch is an enemy.
He is overtly obsessed with interracial sex. He has pornographic images of black women with white men as thumbnails. It's pretty alt-right-ish, to be honest. If you don't know, white males will post videos and images of white women engaging in interracial sex and complain about it. Carroll does the same thing, but in reverse. As one of my subscribers said, he probably watches a lot of interracial porn. Now, Carroll claims to be so intelligent that he won't appear on panels to discuss or debate people, but if you listen to him enough, his debate skills are lackluster at best. One method he has mastered is frame theory, or better known as gaslighting, which is a common tactic used in red pill circles. Scholars define it as an emotional tactic to convince someone that they cannot trust their own memories or perception. The gaslighter also engages in frame control, where they seek to make the person accept their perception, essentially playing by their rules. Another tactic he used is the logical fallacy called ignoratio elenchi. It falls under the variation of a straw man argument, where you refute an opponent's argument they never asserted. For example, he accused his critics of leveraging criticism simply to impress black women or to defend their mothers, and then insists their effort is futile because the women don't care, or they would only care if the opponent was white. One weak counter argument he has is that nobody can truly understand him unless they watch all 2,000 something of his videos, which would literally constitute sitting through hours upon hours of an old man talking over a clicking clock. Ironically, he states that he repeats himself often in many of his videos. Carroll has a bunch of devoted followers, who I assume will be in my comment section, but in my humble opinion, they're just as miserable and grumpy as he is. Carroll is just another guy who uses his age and long-windedness to make himself appear that he is thoughtful. But in reality, he lacks thoughtfulness and wisdom, and in essence is a bitter, grumpy old man who has been complaining about black women for a decade now.